And now, your Big 2 local weather authority forecast. We warn you first with Chief Meteorologist Chase Menendez.
Good evening, everybody. We have a beautiful sunset happening right now outside. A little bit of cloud cover coming on in and some very, very clear, nice spring-like conditions outside. Even traffic, not that bad now that it looks like I-20 is back open. West Texas State Bank weather cam giving us a good look at that beautiful, beautiful sunset. I'm just taking it in. Anyway, temperatures this afternoon much, much warmer than what we saw yesterday. Picked up 11 degrees over this time yesterday for Odessa Midland, for Big Spring, and for Pecos. Up 14 for Hobbs. Generally extremely warm temperatures compared to where we were yesterday. And all this follows a very chilly morning. Now that puts most of our temperatures in the 60s. 67 for Odessa Midland, 66 for Big Spring, and 71 for Fort Stockton. We've already begun to cool down a little bit. Our high temperatures today came in all the way at 69 degrees after a 30-degree morning low. Very, very chilly conditions. 58 was our high yesterday, so we really picked up a lot of extra heat here in West Texas. Our high temperature yesterday came in at average, but today all the way 10 to 12 degrees above average here in Odessa Midland, kind of hitting that high mark. Again, our lows dropped down into the 30s, below freezing for a short time, and it's just really, really bizarre to see a temperature fluctuation from low to high going almost 40 degrees from morning time to afternoon time. But you know what, that happens sometimes here in West Texas because we're just so dry sometimes. Humidity across the basin, not too bad. Normal for this time of year is going to be about the 30s for the lowest point during the day. But anytime we see these numbers in the teens, that indicates some very dry conditions. And that's exactly what we have in Fort Stockton, Alpine, and Marfa, as well as Carlsbad. Now, going through the overnight hours, humidity tends to rise as those temperatures fall. Odessa Midland picking up to 51% by 5 a.m. But notice Carlsbad remaining in the teens that entire time. Now, as we go into the afternoon time tomorrow, these numbers tank back down into the teens, but some of us, Fort Stockton, Alpine, actually not even making it that high, only dropping down to 11%, indicating some more dry conditions. Now this can be a problem because that's going to be drying out some of the brush, drying out some of the soil, and with wind speeds picking up into the double digits, possibly the teens, that can affect our fire weather concerns, possibly making for us to see a little bit of that fire weather conditions. Now as we get into the afternoon time, Odessa Midland only picking up to about 10-mile-per-hour wind speeds, but that will be a steady 10-mile-per-hour wind speed. So if anything does ignite, if anything does catch on fire, it does have the potential to spread very quickly. Now today we have those gap winds at the higher elevations. The Van Horn Mountains, the Guadalupe Pass, the Davis Mountains, the usual suspects seeing those elevated wind speeds. Odessa Midland staying in the double digits and will stay that way for most of the overnight hours. Notice as we go on through into tomorrow morning, those gap winds kind of shift a little bit, moving to the east. The lee side gap winds is kind of developing, and as we get on through the day into Saturday, most of our wind speeds begin to fluctuate a little bit because we get our next cold front coming through in the overnight hours Saturday into Sunday. That'll ramp our wind speeds up for Odessa Midland, but in the meantime, we have to get through Saturday first. We have a very nice warm Saturday. Wind speeds kind of becoming a little bit more mild, but for the most part, it's going to be still breezy overnight. Now, as far as temperatures go, we're going to be dealing with some pretty nice conditions for the weekend. Our high temperature on Saturday coming up all the way to the 70s, 74 degrees for our high. Sunday, we drop down. Remember, we have that cold front coming through. That'll kick us down to 54 degrees for our high temperature after a low of 34 degrees on Sunday morning. So get ready for some very cold mornings coming through for Sunday and Monday. Christmas Eve, though, recovering all the way up to 62 for our high temperature and 65 for our high on Christmas Day. Looking dry, but Wednesday does come with a 30% chance for rain.